All right. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday evening. I just wanted to go ahead and record a video for statistics. One of the problems on the problem set that's due on Monday. In fact, specifically want to focus on this problem right here, which says, as lab partners Sally and Betty, this is number 3, multiple choice. As lab partners, Sally and Betty collected data for a significance test. Both of them calculated the same test statistic, which is the pen cap dropped here, which is the t-stat. So they both got the same t-stat. Both of them had results that were significant at the alpha equals 0.05. When checking their results, the woman found the only difference, right, is Sally found that the results were significant. In other words, there was evidence to reject the null hypothesis. Significance means evidence to reject H0. Betty found that there was no significance. I'm taking some notes on my paper, and I'll show you what I'm writing down here in a second. No significance means not enough evidence to reject the null. Enough, spelled wrong, evidence to reject the null. The only difference is Sally was two-sided, whereas Betty was greater than, one side greater than. Which of the following could have been the t-stat they calculated? All right, so here's the information I have down on my paper. I'm trying to find what the t-stat is. I know that they both used an alpha of 0.05. I know that Sally found significant results, which means that there was evidence to reject the null hypothesis. And Betty found no significant results, which means there was not enough evidence to reject the null hypothesis. And the last piece of information I know is Sally did a two-sided test and Betty did a one-sided greater than test. Okay, how the heck am I going to do this? Well, there's a nice hint we give you, which is figure out what stat would have worked for Sally but not Betty. Let's think about this for a second. We have a graph here. Some distribution. This is, let's call this Sally. So Sally was a two-sided test, which means Sally had stuff over here on the positive side and stuff over here on the negative side. Betty, on the other hand, only did a one-sided greater than, so greater than is over here. So if they had calculated a t-stat over here, then Sally would have said, yep, we're good. Betty would have said, no, we are not good. So it must have been some negative number that was calculated, because only Sally did the two-sided test, and only Sally found that there was rejection. Had to be some negative number. So what negative number could it be? Well, let's go back to our answer choices. The answer choices are either negative 1.980 or negative 1.690. So it's one of these two. Well, what is the t-stat for Sally? Well, let's find out. Well, we know, so we need to say which of these, remember the test for significance is which of these is greater than the critical value. Now, what is the critical value? Well, the critical value is T star, which is degrees of freedom, comma, alpha. Well, let's look. Alpha is, in this case, alpha is 0.05. Because this is a two-tailed test, this T critical value, this side is 0.025% of the data. So this right here is really 0.05 divided by 2, which is 0.025, because we have a two-tailed test. So what is the t-value that corresponds with 0.025? 1.96. 1.96. We assume, because they don't tell the sample size, they assume the biggest one. So 1.96. So which of these is bigger than 1.96? Well, right here, remember, we do the absolute value. So this has to be the t-statistic. Because if they had gotten this, they both would have said the results were not significant. Betty, because any negative number is game over. Sally, because the negative number had to be bigger magnitude than 1.96. So the answer must be negative 1.98. Please take a look at this video. Let me know if you have any questions on this piece.